Thank you for staying with us. Once again, the Academic Union, Staff Union of Universities, is proposing an indefinite strike. The group says it will proceed on strike if the federal government fails to implement the Memorandum of Action signed with it last year. This is becoming a source of concern for many students and stakeholders in the education sector. There are growing calls for the government to do all it can to avert the impending strike. But the union says strict actions would be taken this time around to prove to the government that this matter should be taken with utmost seriousness. Well, joining me to discuss more on this is the chairman, ASUU Unilag chapter, Dr. Dele Ashiru. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you
for this invitation.
Right, you're welcome.
Thank
you. Now talk to us from the point of view of ASUU. Several times, ASUU has gone into an agreement with the federal government, but it is now saying that it seems that the government does not have the ability, because from his statements as of Friday, the federal government does not have the ability to resolve the lingering crisis in the education sector. The union is expressing doubt, but it has been going, having agreements with government. Why is this different this time around? Why is it seeming like the government cannot, meet up with this agreement?
Government is unable to resolve the crisis in the education sector. Then government should resign. What that simply means is failure of government. What is in the crisis that is so unresolvable by any government that takes the future of
So you tell us what is in this crisis, what the matter really is. That is a major problem.
The matter is simple.
Right.
You signed an agreement in 2009 with a clause in the agreement that this agreement can be reviewed by either party every 3 years. Between 2009 and today, we have gone on strike for more than 10 times to get government to review that agreement. And last year, when we made it an issue, we were on strike for 9 months. Our salaries were stopped, our families suffered, our dependents, some of our colleagues can't even buy medication to survive. And government says, okay, we are going to do XYZ through a memorandum of action.
Right.
Now, one of the items on the memorandum of action is the conclusion of the renegotiation of that agreement. That agreement had been renegotiated and concluded since May last year. Now, between May last year and today, that document is with government and they have no time to look at it. So tell me,
how was the union, engaging government since May last year to ensure that it sees through the agreement it had with them?
Your medium even published several interventions at the highest level of government. You recall, the president of the Senate intervened in this matter. The speaker, for which we must commend him for his, active interest in the resolution of this crisis, had intervened more than 3 times with, directives to relevant agencies of government. But what you are seeing in the education sector is symptomatic of what is happening in the entire Nigerian society. You hear of doctors complaining about agreement. You hear about nurses complaining about agreement. Teachers are complaining about agreement. Now they are accused all over the place. So that tells you the general, the general failure in governance. I've just told you, this matter is simple. Conclude the renegotiation, commence its implementation, and the crisis is resolved. But rather than, taking concrete action, the president, through its spokesperson, was only telling us that government will keep faith with promises. Our union is tired of promises. We have been accepting government promises over the years, and now Our members are fed up. Look, how do you feel that you reach an agreement with government on 4 critical areas? Conditions of service, which borders on our salary. As I speak with you, I have been earning the same salary since 2009 till date. And the highest paid professor in our university takes less than 500,000 naira every month. So how do you expect such people to contribute to human capital development and contribute to producing graduates that are globally competitive? So what we are saying is that government can resolve this crisis. Government can avert this crisis. All they need to do is, conclude the renegotiation, sign it into law, and commence its implementation. More worrisome is the fact that in spite of our own agitation in the last 12 years, only recently, government have accepted a new salary structure for some other agencies of government who are not doing any better than we are doing. So you then wonder why government is showing so much disdain for the intelligentsia in Nigeria. Right.
Now, there are concerns being, this is raising concerns across the country, especially for parents. In recent times, we have seen how there's been an increase in the spate of juvenile activities. Talk about rituals and all of it, the yahoo and all. It has been said that an idle hand is the devil's workshop. And there are calls that aren't there other ways to drive home this point than sending the same students whom their parents are agitated to become idle again? Are there no other ways to address these matters with government such that there is a conclusion to all of the agitations than a strike?
We are open to suggestions. And there's really no correlation between students being at home and the rate of juvenile delinquency that you talk about.
Because an idle hand.
Yeah, but as we speak, they are not idle. They are in school, and yet yahoo and all that are still ongoing. So there are no correlation. But the bigger picture is to stop this agitation and allow government to destroy education in Nigeria. As I speak with you, where are public primary schools in Nigeria?
Right.
Where are public secondary schools?
Right.
If we fold our arms, what will simply happen is that public university system will just collapse. And how many Nigerians can pay humongous amount of money to send their children to private university like they do in private primary and secondary school? So this struggle, rather than parents complaining, what they need to do is join forces with us to force government to do the right thing.
How can they do that?
As we're on strike, if we eventually government allows us to go on strike, they should join us. Whoever is working should stay at home.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Who will take care of their families?
Who takes care of our own family when our salaries are stopped? These are sacrifices that we must make to make our society better. Oh, so you want to eat omelette, but you don't want to break egg. It's not possible.
It's not. They tell you that it is not their own fault. It is the government's
Yes,
fault.
but as citizens, they should hold government accountable.
Right.
Our citizens should live up to their responsibility of holding government accountable for their actions. Look, in societies that are progressing, the citizens are not docile. When Trump became president of America,
right,
he had ideas about how to run America. But the American people resisted him. That you have to stay within these parameters. Nigerians have indulged their leaders. They take from them for a ride. Look, we've been paying for darkness in the last 20 years in this country. Those are parallels that we can draw. What we need to do is for everybody, because this struggle is not ASUU struggle alone. And that's why we are being blackmailed, by government and all and sundry. Because we see beyond today. We believe that the future development of this society hinges on an education that is functional.
Absolutely.
An education that is globally competitive. An education that will drive development in all sectors of the economy. Look, when Nigeria was better, check the education system.
Right.
Today, look at what is happening. So what we are saying is journalists, lawyers, association, NLC, TUC, civil society group.
How is the union engaging all of these associations to ensure that
we are affiliated to NLC?
Right.
And I mean, we have put our case, you know, before, I mean, the global body. They are engaging government. What we have is a recalcitrant government who is unwilling. Choice of words, please. Who is unwilling to do what is right. Look, I am agitated. Agitated because isn't it bad that in the last 12 years I have been involved in the struggle to get an agreement signed with, you know, successive governments? Is that how to run a country? So please. So how far is the union willing to go this time around to drive home its point? We are prepared to say now or no more. And we have always succumbed, you know, to pressure from parents, from students, from well-meaning. But it seems that we are talking to a group of people whose mindset is made up on the fact that education, especially at the tertiary level, must go to the bins. But our union is resolved to ensure that government is compelled to do what is right. How is it going to do that? Well, beyond the strike. Beyond strike? See, in the last 4 weeks, we've been telling Nigerians that please prevail on government. You see, nobody is talking to us. Minister of Labor, Minister of this, Minister of nobody is talking to us. Let us start the strike and see whether they will not start advertising that they have called them for meeting. And your union will not succumb as well? We will not. We will attend the meeting, but our demands are clear. And they are not far-fetched. Sign that agreement. Stop all our people from being paid through IPPIS and other sundry matters. And the strike is over. Or is prevented. We go to strike at great pains. It's not that we enjoy going to strike. When we go to strike, we suffer a lot. Last year, for 9 months, our members' salaries were withheld by the same government because we say do what is right. And you know what it means for your salaries to be stopped for 9 months. So, strike is not a tea party. It's not what people enjoy. We don't enjoy going on strike. Because of course also, we believe that both students and lecturers are partners in the business of knowledge production. So, I was a student. Today, I'm a lecturer. My students today, I'm praying that they take over from me. So, it is only when we have a system that is robust, that survives, that the system can function. So, please, we are appealing to all well-meaning Nigerians to help us prevail on government, because all of these activities will culminate into the National Executive Council meeting of our union, which is going to hold any moment from now. Right. According to reports, that should be February 14th, I think, according to reports. But then they said that there are issues that would be discussed to determine how the nationwide strike would hold and all of that day. Perhaps you might want to give us an insight into some of the issues that will be put forward. No, we don't discuss our neck matters on TV. When we finish our deliberation, the president will brief the press. And I mean, we will take it from there. I mean, what we discuss in our neck meetings are purely for our members. But after that meeting, resolutions that are reached will be made public. Right. But just bear in mind that a lot of persons, a lot of parents and a lot of Nigerians I am also hoping. A parent. My children are also in Nigerian university. And when we go on strike, they stay in my house. Right. So parents should not think that we have our own kids in some private institutions. No, they are there. A majority of us too. But if we don't do this struggle, look, I will not be able, as a very senior person in the university, be able to send my own children to private universities, except I have helped myself with some
which some persons have accused some of members of your union to be helping themselves outside of the system. So to
well, those who get government appointment and have some extra money, they can do what they choose. But the average Nigerian lecturer, with the kind of money that they pay us, cannot afford it.
Right. Let's leave the conversation here now. Chairman ASUU UNILAG chapter, Dr. Dele Ashiru, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for this invitation.